Right? Okay. Alright, so I'm going to demonstrate how to use the Nicolette IS10 FTIR. Alright, so the first thing that you want to do is you want to go ahead and make sure that your base is clean. So what we're going to do is we're going to use acetone to clean the total base. You also want to make sure that this point is clean as well. So next you're going to go to the computer and you're going to open up the program called Omnic. So once the Omnic program is open, you're going to make sure that your system status is green, and you're going to hit, well, let me actually change something real quick. Okay. So once you do that, you're going to make sure that you collect your background. It's going to say, please prepare to collect background spectrum. We've already cleaned it, so you just hit OK. Now, one thing that you want to make sure is that when you're collecting your background, that your system status is always green. If by any chance your system status is not green and it changes red, you're going to actually want to close the program, cut off the instrument in the back, and cut it all back on, and then restart it again. Alright, so we're going to ask, do you want, it's all green, so we're good. So you're going to ask, do you want to add to window 1? Now this is just the background, so you don't actually have to add it to window 1. So you're going to hit no. Alright, once you do that, you're then going to hit collect sample. And now it says, please prepare to collect the sample. So once you do that, you're going to take your sample. And now since this sample is actually a solid sample, we're going to place it. Now, there's boiling stones in here, so I'm going to move the boiling stones out the way. And we're going to just move just enough on top of the red light. And that's the infrared light that you're actually seeing the laser going through it. So now, if it was a liquid, we would just have to put a little bit of the liquid there and just leave it as is. But since this is a solid, what you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to actually apply pressure and you're going to click it a couple of times, alright? So I always tell people, students, click, click, alright? So after you've prepared the sample, you're going to then hit OK. Alright, so once the inspection is done, if you want to, you can go ahead and title the inspection. Right now, I'm not going to title it. I'm going to hit OK. And now it says, do you want to add to window 1? I'm going to hit yes. Alright, so whoever set the parameters for the display, they kind of went far out of the range of the instrument. And so we're actually going to close in the range. So by doing that, all of this that's above the baseline of 100 is all called noise. So I'm going to move the cursor over until I no longer have all that noise on there, just little by little until the noise is gone. You see how it made a difference? Okay, so now once the noise is gone, I'm going to then, I want to increase my range here, so I'm going to click this to increase my range just a little bit. I'm going to make it nice and long. Let's do that some more. Okay. Alright, so once it's not, too close to the baseline, I'm just pretty much zooming out. If you notice, my transmission range is changing. It's getting lower and lower. And I'm just doing that because my next step is going to be finding peaks and labeling my peaks, and I don't want the numbers to be squished all together too much. Alright, so once I have my display, mind you, we're not changing the spectrum, we're just changing the display, okay? What's actually being shown. So once I do that, I'm then going to actually hit Find Peaks. Alright, so wherever I click and put this line, it's going to find the peaks below that line, if you guys notice, alright? So once I click it at the high point, and you can also change the sensitivity threshold by clicking this down. So you notice that some of the peaks are disappearing, and it's showing only the ones that are really important. So I'm going to go ahead and keep it like this. So it's still labeling a lot of the peaks that I'm looking for, and I'm going to hit replace. Alright, so now I have a decent amount of peaks being labeled, you know, all the major ones. And we already know that this is caffeine. And if you guys know the structure of caffeine, there's something that you should be able to notice. Well, you have your NH groups right here showing up. You have your carbonyl peak showing up, as well as in your 14 to 600 region, you have your benzene as well showing up there. A cool feature about this instrument is that you can actually search a library to see, you know, if your compound is pretty pure or not, or to see how much it matches up. So no libraries were selected. So I'm gonna go to analyze. I'm gonna do search from, okay, let's do setup. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just add. I'm gonna add some libraries here so it can search it. So I'm not sure which library it's gonna get it from. So let's just add them all. Just make sure they're all there. All right. So then from there, I'm gonna hit OK. And let's try to do a search this time.
Okay.
The best match is only fair. However, the mass match, we notice, it actually is caffeine. So we know that, you know, it's pretty cool. Now, of course, it's just a search library. So if you're working with compounds that are not in the library, then it's not going to show up. But caffeine just happened to be in the library. So once you're done doing that, you want to save it as a file that you can open up on any computer. So you're going to hit Save As. You're going to choose whichever folder you want it to be saved under, or you can use your thumb drive. So for right now, I'm going to actually create a folder for you guys, since this is your first time. CH311. This is spring, 2015. And so that it can be opened in other files, different, you know, formats. You can go ahead and save it as a TIFF file, and that will actually be able to, you should be able to open up in what do you call it? What's it called? In Paintbrush. So whose group was this?
Oh, mine.
Okay. So what we do is you get your initials. So you and your partner's initials.
DC.
DC and ML. And you do underscore what it's called. So this is caffeine. And then underscore the date. So today is the 23rd of 15. And that's all you have to do. And you save it. Another method of saving is using Paintbrush. You can actually control copy here and control paste here. So if you want it as a JPEG or a bitmap file, you can always do it like this as well. So you would do save. I'm gonna create a folder here for you guys as well. Now, if you save it in the as the other type of file, you can actually manipulate it and you can do some things there. Whereas here, you're not going to be able to do anything else with it. But it's great for your lab reports, which is what you need to do. So it's DCML underscore caffeine underscore 022315 and save. So after you're done, one thing you want to always make sure that you do, you go back here. If you want to say you didn't do the melting point or whatever yet, this right here can actually be used for other tests, and that's why we kind of clean up the whole platform. So like save was a large, it's not that much, but save was a large amount. You can always scoop that back in there. So after you collect what, oh, okay, get that off the floor later. All right, after you do that, you're then going to take it and clean it off with acetone for the next person to use. And that's it.